my channel and welcome to my first ever reading vlog. It's June and it's Pride Month. I have props for that. And it's Pride Month. So for my first ever reading vlog, I'm reading exclusively on I'm reading exclusively LGBTQIA stories. But the thing about this reading vlog is I kind of started it late. Actually, it's really late. We're already on the last week of June. I already read 3 books for the month and I'm finishing up my 4th one. Then I think I'm going to read 2 more. I think I can read 2 more. Or if not, edi hindi. For now, I'm going to go through the book I'm currently reading and the books I plan to read if I still have time. So, I'm currently reading Notes of a Crocodile by Miaojin. It follows the story of Lazzy, our lesbian narrator, as she goes through her life living in the closet. It's important to note that this is set in the late 80s, so alam mo yun, hindi pa naman masyadong open yung ganito. hindi pa naman masyadong open yung gayness. It wasn't as accepted as it is now. When you read Notes of a Crocodile, expect that there's a lot of internal homophobia. She's always struggling to accept this attraction that she feels towards women. It's not really a very fun story. And being gay is not fun all the time, so after Notes of a Crocodile, I'm planning to read Queer Intentions, A Personal Journey Through LGBTQ Culture by Amelia Abraham. Although depends on my mood if I want another non-fiction, because non-fiction tong Queer Intentions. If I'm like, I kind of want a fiction, I'm going to read James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room. I actually don't know what the storyline of Giovanni's Room is, but I'm just going to surprise myself. I know na it's a classic gay lit. That's all I know, to be honest. I'm gonna take you guys along with me finishing these books, and then I'm going to wrap everything up and I'm going to review everything on the end of this video. So please finish this video. Nagmakaawa. Anyway, welcome to my first ever reading vlog. I hope you enjoy your stay.
My stomach hurts, man. Filling me up with all this negative energy and shit. Like, I don't even know. What's the point? Like, you just make me feel like shit sometimes. I think you should start to know that, because as soon as you do, you can start to accept that you're the piece of shit. No, fuck you.
Yeah, running, gunning, old school cat, stunning. Funny how the rest gon' come in. Funny how you back for the loving I'm in. I got one too many tricks up my sleeve. Must need overdose of empathy. My pops and me, more screenshots of me. The streets are free, go ahead and take from me. Feeling right out of line. Gotta hit my boy Ricky for the whip of time. Proud of driven, but it's nothing like the time to grind. Take the time, tripping over space and time. My mind in line, speaking like a god of time. My modest mind, speaking from the heart of kind. A way to find another way to pass the time. I made my mind a station kind of race. Yeah, running, got me gunning.
It's the first day of this reading vlog, and I am now on 51% of Notes of a Crocodile. I really like Lazzy, the main protagonist. I see myself so much in her, and it's such a lonely book. The way she writes about the internal war of liking someone, of falling in love with someone, and then your brain tries to tell you na you shouldn't. If you're a queer person going through what she's talking about here, it's hard to read this in one go, because it's too much sometimes. According to my Kindle that analyzed my reading speed, I have 1 hour and 30 minutes left in this book. I feel like I can finish this today.
With my eyes open, gazing into the corner.
hours ago. I usually research about the books I read right after I finish it. I discovered a lot of things, especially about the author. Knowing about the state of Taiwan when this was published, and knowing that the author took her own life at 26 years old, it made the reading experience, the post-reading experience, very sad. Anyway, for the next book I'm going to read Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I still don't know a lot about this book. I want to read it clueless.
I'm not used to being high every time, but it comes back eventually. I may tell you that I'm fine, and it'll be my only saying. Once or twice a day I see, once or twice a day I see the way she keeps running, my dear. I'll be stuck in this procedure inside and out, held back from this race.
Just finished Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. Wow. I love this book so much. I got so engrossed in this story so fast. Parang 5th page pa lang ako. Ang ganda na nang nangyayari. I think it's because I shouldn't be reviewing this. I will review this after. I just filmed just to update you guys that I finished Giovanni's Room and I loved it. Okay, bye. So good. Hey everyone, so it's already July 2. June just wrapped up. All the Pride logos have been changed. All the rainbow branding have been stripped out. It's all done. It's not representation, it's a marketing ploy. But here on my channel, we're still talking about gay books, gay literature. I read 5 books for Pride Month. I honestly believe this is such a great selection. I'm so excited to recommend these books to you guys. So yeah, I'm going to review everything. I don't want to say review because it's such a big word. You might expect such in-depth analysis and critical something. Please don't expect a lot from me. I'm just going to say what I liked about this book and who I think it serves and all that. So the first book I read this June is Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal by Jeanette Winterson. So Jeanette Winterson is a lesbian author, and this is her collection of essays about her search of belonging, her search of home and identity. This easily became one of my favorite books of all time. Most of these essays are stories of growing up as a lesbian in a very restrictive and religious household. So this search of belonging in this book is the very central concept of her memoir. I would highly recommend this book to lovers of personal essays, especially to queer women, queer people who lived most of their life in secret and having to lead this double life. This is such a common occurrence in LGBT, I think. Meron talagang era of your life that you're living double lives. One that you can share to the public and one you can't. It's a very great book when you want a narrative like that. Jeanette Winterson's story is very sad and very lonely. It's very depressing at times. But knowing that she's in a loving and great relationship now, it's somehow reassuring that life does get better and it can get better. The second book I read was Detransition Baby by Torrey. This is the first book about trans people written by a trans woman that got longlisted for the Women's Prize of Fiction, which is very historical. But of course, this angered a lot of straight people. But fuck them. In Detransition Baby, we follow Reese. Reese is a trans woman who used to be in a loving, almost perfect relationship with Amy, who is also a trans woman. Very long-term relationship, they already lived together and all that. And then somehow, everything fell apart. And this isn't only the main reason, but one of the reasons is Amy decided to detransition. So this book starts years after that breakup. And so Amy has become Ames. After years of being apart, no connection whatsoever, he calls up his ex Reese out of the blue to ask her if she wants to start a family with him because he got his boss Katrina pregnant. So I don't know if I explained that clearly. I don't think I did, but if it sounds messy, it's because it is. It's so chaotic. But more than that, more than the plot, I think it's very well written. For Torrey Peters' debut novel, this is magnificent. It has magnificent writing. I would recommend Detransition Baby to literally everyone. This is a very timely, very provocative book. This tells the story of motherhood in different lenses. Of course, we have Reese, a trans woman who always wanted to become a mother since ever. It's her greatest dream to become a mother. And then we have Katrina, a cis woman carrying the baby who is not that sure if she really wants the baby, and Ames, who's a trans woman who detransitioned and who wants to make this a queer family because she doesn't want the mother-father thing. It's very important how this book discusses the potential of queer family, breaking the norm of heteronormative parenthood. I think that's the biggest takeaway from Detransition Baby. If you want a book that challenges family, that challenges narratives of motherhood and parenthood, Detransition Baby is such a great book to read about that. The third book I read this month is One Last Stop by mcquiston. Honestly, One Last Stop is a book that I normally wouldn't pick because it's romance, it has magic realism in its story, but you know, after Detransition Baby, I just wanted a light read. A lot of booktubbers were raving about this and everyone had nice reviews about this, and of course it's a sapphic romance, so I don't like romance, but when it's sapphic romance, I can get on with that. One Last Stop is about August, a 26-year-old bisexual woman who just moved to New York. But something that reminded me of this book is the movie About Time. Think about time and then make it gay. That's One Last Stop. What I really appreciated with One Last Stop is the story of found family. August, upon moving to New York, stumbled upon these queer misfits as housemates. It's such a nice experience to read openly queer people living together and then solving a mystery together. After the very fun one last stop, I read Notes of a Crocodile by Miaojin. Notes of a Crocodile is set in the post-martial law era of Taiwan, which is the late 1980s. Late 1980s in Taipei is still a very much homophobic social environment. So, Notes of a Crocodile was published in 1994 amid a Taiwanese media frenzy about lesbians. TV journalists secretly filmed a group of lesbians in a bar, which resulted to the suicide of these women who were secretly filmed. So this gives you an idea how homophobic the social environment was. It's a very important book to read, especially considering na pinublish niya tong book na to in such a hard time. And it's also such an experience to be reading this in this present time. I think Taiwan already legalized same-sex marriage a few years ago and is the first Asian country to do so. The juxtaposition of those two situations, like in Taiwan present time, same-sex couples can already adopt, can already get married, whereas in Notes of a Crocodile, these university students spend most of their lives hiding their sexualities. Difference is very jarring. The realization that Taiwan has come so far and recognizing that there was progress and there can be more progress if we just fight, if we just continue fighting and remember that pride is a protest. As a gay woman in the Philippines, reading this and recognizing the progress that Taiwan has made, I don't know, it gives me hope that maybe in the Philippines it will come true for us as well. Anyway, going back, so Lazzy here in Notes of a Crocodile, most of the notebooks here is her struggles and how she grapples with her own sexuality, and how it's centered on self-hatred, and it's hard to read sometimes because it's like revisiting your stages of your life na you just hated yourself so much. She found herself immoral, and I think this book is a great book to read about that, how Lazzy came to terms with her own sexuality, and she had a long way before she fully accepted herself, before she was brave enough to actually recognize that there's nothing wrong, it's just how she is, and she only reached that place because she found this group of friends who were also like her. And I think that's the message, like how important found family is in a queer person's life. I never would have been this confident about myself if not for my queer circle. This book is such a great testament. It's a testament to how important it is to find your chosen family. The last book I read for Pride Month is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I think this was originally published in 1950s. Our narrator is David. On the first page pa lang, David is talking about Giovanni, his ex-lover who was about to be killed, death penalty, ganon. From the start pa lang, we know na something bad happened that led to Giovanni's demise. Giovanni's Room reminded me so much of Notes of a Crocodile because just like Lazzy, David of Giovanni's Room struggles so much in terms of accepting himself as someone who is attracted to men. It's a very good book. It touches on class as well, and he hurts so many people because of this self-hatred in his heart and because of this repression. What I love about this book is that touches upon the conventional life. So David, he's engaged to a woman named Hella. Hella traveled to Spain. So David was left alone in Paris. That's when he met Giovanni. It showed na David was trying so hard to live a conventional life, and he was fooling himself, literally fooling himself, that he loved Hella and that he wanted a family with her, when the true thing is he loves Giovanni. His internalized homophobia wouldn't accept that. That is everything I read this month. I'm so happy to be talking about books for my 50 subscribers. And I'm just happy to be here and acting like my opinions have value. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, and comment and like or whatever. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. See you next week. Bye.